Good day and thank you for joining ΣիվիլΝեթ. Today we'll be speaking with Anahit Galestian from One Armenia and Anna Agajanian from the Sahman NGO and about a very interesting project which has made quite a bit of a buzz. And I'm going to ask my guest to tell us, so what's the buzz? What's going on in Tavush?
Well, One Armenia and Sahman NGO have partnered to bring on the buzz to Baghanis, which is a village on the border with Azerbaijan, where crowdfunding for just over $30,000 to provide 18 families with 4 beehives each. The idea is to provide them with sustainable income and to keep them in their village so that they can maintain their lives and sustain themselves on their own. This is the second time we've partnered with Sahman NGO. We really love working with them. One of the reasons being that One Armenia is all about transparency, and Sahman is fantastic with transparency. So when it comes to fundraising and crowdfunding especially, we're all about reporting back to our audience, and we're really passionate about this particular project. We feel like it has so much potential. We're buzzing with excitement, as we've been saying all along, but all puns aside, it's actually a fairly serious project, and it can do quite a lot towards the development of the region.
And I want to ask more about the project and also the selection of the village. Why Baghanis and why this particular project?
Well, the way that we choose the villages that we work in and the villages that we work with are basically solely down to the geographic location. So we tend to choose villages that are right on the border with Azerbaijan. So we don't call them border villages, we call them the actual border. They are the villages that protect and provide security for the rest of us in the country. So the least we can do as individuals and organizations is to assist in any way that we possibly can. And we don't generally like to use the word charity or a handout. We prefer to give them a hand as opposed to a handout. So we make sure that whatever the project is, that the local community always has their own input. And the way that we're doing it with this particular project with One Armenia is to have all the families that are involved. They are then in charge of returning 1 kilo of honey from each hive that they have back into their own community. And
so the project is this: 18 families will get 4 beehives each, and which is estimated to bring them an annual income of $700 around.
Approximately.
And they have to donate part of it, small amount of it, back into the community.
Exactly.
And why particularly beehives or bee production? How did that idea come about?
Again, it's all down to security. Obviously, having cattle is impossible when they're on the border because they just don't have the arable lands, they don't have the grazing lands. They're all under direct sniper fire. And that is not a problem that you have with bees. They can buzz around and do whatever it is that they choose and then come back to their original location. So we sat down and we decided that this was the best choice for that particular geographic area.
And well, it's just not about giving them the beehives, then there's like branding the product, selling the product, getting it to the market. Also, like there's an educational period they have to go through probably, and how do you maintain the bees with sickness that strikes them? I know that very often is an international issue at this moment.
Yes. The most important aspect of each project, no matter what we do as part of Sahman, is the component that's most important to us is the educational component. So we certainly don't just give them the tools and the accessories that they need to carry out any particular project. We make sure that, most importantly, they have guidance and they have training and they have a consultant that's on hand 24/7 almost, and they can speak to the consultant with any particular problems that they might have. So for this particular project, what we're going to do is, once we've chosen the families and we're 3/4 of the way there, just as a side note, we can only choose 18 families, but we have 69 families that have signed up for this particular project.
So what are the criteria upon which you choose the families? Why this rather than that family?
Sure. Well, we want to meet with each individual family. You get a very good idea and a good feeling when you talk to the families and you go into their homes and you realize whether they are the sort of people that would benefit best from a particular project. So we don't have a set criteria. Otherwise, we would just hand out a questionnaire and just choose based on their answers. We want to meet with every single family and choose the best that we think would be those that would be the most appropriate. It's a personal interaction. It's absolutely it is. We tend to choose families that naturally have more than 2 or 3 children. We tend to choose families that would financially benefit most from any particular project. And we generally like to choose families that will not only benefit financially from a particular project, it will make a huge difference in their daily lives, but also we tend to work with returning migrants or seasonal workers. So providing them with a sustainable income on the border will naturally make them want to stay in Armenia and in their particular village as opposed to.
Well, my question in this case will be a $700 annual additional income. Is this enough to bring back the migrant worker or sustain a community or a family?
So $700 may not seem too much to us living in Yerevan or someone who's abroad. It might just seem like short change to some people even. But in the village, the average is $500. So this is like a little bit more. And prices are different, the lifestyle's different, a lot of things are different in this village and generally in the regions, so that amount does actually stretch. And we tend to choose projects that are long-term and sustainable, so what we envision for the future is for them to have more hives and produce more honey and have more of an income. So to start off with, this is the amount that they'll be having each year, but like I said, there's so much potential for it. And what we've been told by Sahman, who are the experts in this, is that beekeeping isn't that difficult. So you just have to have the hives, make sure that the bees are okay, treat them with medicine, whatever it is, and you pretty much just leave them to it. So it's something that the whole family can participate in as well. So the importance of having families which are slightly larger is that more and more people can get involved with this, meaning that the income increases as well. So
since we agree that beekeeping is relatively safer and a less risky way of farming, let's say, and well, the villagers could have come up with this by themselves, and that doesn't take a lot of investment. I think their fear was mainly how to take this product out, sell, where to sell, how to brand it. Is this something that you're going to be involved with?
Absolutely. Sahman tends to be involved from the very beginning of a project and see it through to its very end, and even keep going back once the project itself is finished. As far as honey is concerned and the marketing aspect and the selling aspect of it, we work with various different organizations that do certainly buy up the honey, and they both sell it within the country and they export it. So that's another thing that we are very concerned about, is because there are existing beekeepers in all of the villages where we work. So we want to make sure that they realize that the new beekeepers that we're training, and that they're not necessarily going to be their competition, that there will be more than enough. As much as they can produce will be sold both in country and will be exported.
And we're talking about organic honey?
We certainly are, and it's honey from Armenia will certainly be something to keep an eye out in the future.
And another question is, like, how do organizations like yours come together and decide on a project? How does that initial spark or the idea come about?
This time around is Sahman's second time with One Armenia. So we already knew about Sahman, and we were very happy with the previous project we did in Bedkaber to bring greenhouses. The kind of projects we choose have to be long-term and sustainable, and they have to have an aspect of job creation. One Armenia is not about charity. One Armenia is about development. Saying we are a community, we want them to invest in projects. We want them to invest in the development of, say, Baghanis, Tavush, or Armenia. So projects that are transparent, are long-term, and have an aspect of job creation are absolutely what One Armenia is all about. And right now we're looking to go into the fields of agriculture, technology, and tourism. And Sahman fits into the agriculture as something that's developing in Armenia and has so much potential as well. I feel like the potential in Armenia hasn't fully been reached. So we look for organizations and we partner with organizations who are have the same vision as us.
And more to the economic side of this. So how much is a single beehive, and the bees, I mean, to set up a single family with 4 beehives and everything else that they need, including the bees, what's the cost?
Well, the financial breakdown is in a lot of detail, but just to give you a general idea, what we tend to do is we try to source everything locally as far as possible. So the hives that we've ordered are being produced in Armenia, and the bees are Armenian bees. So we make sure that, you know, that whatever funding that goes into a particular project circulates both in the region, in the village, in the region, and the country itself. So to give you an estimate, each beehive, including the bees, costs approximately 80,000 drams, which is about 160, 170 euros. So multiply that by 4, and then including the cost of the consultant and the transportation and things like
and
that.
Medication probably.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. But again, I'd like to stress that the members of both Sahman and our volunteers and everyone else that we work with volunteer their time as much as they possibly can, free of charge. And it's the enthusiasm and it's the passion that they bring into it that really makes it an organization that we're very proud of. And it's great to work with One Armenia too.
So can I like comfortably announce that soon enough there'll be organic Armenian honey for $7 per kilo, or the price will differ?
Oh, we hope it will be that will be true.
Okay, good luck. I'll be looking forward to seeing the product on the shelves, and this is a great project. Good luck, ladies, and thank you to the viewers for joining us.